Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished visitors, we are at the forefront of innovation. Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Hangzhou, there are a lot of countries that are now entering into the digital realm unlike ever before. At this point in time, we would like to focus on the goability of imagining a city where AI and algorithms analyze traffic data, optimize the flow, reducing congestion, and maximizing efficiency. This afternoon, we'll have Ajas Manoff, who's the global head of smart cities at Dell Technology, speak for us. He is a leading expert in his field. With his intense experience in AI-driven situations and solutions, Ajas is well equipped to address the future cities of tomorrow. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome Ajas Manoff to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, during our presentation, our crowds will start to come back in. So if you have any questions after the presentation, feel free to ask. Ajas?
No pressure. So, good afternoon, everyone. Or is it still morning? No, it is afternoon. My name is Ajas Monsef. I'm with Dell Technologies. You heard that. I've been in the IT industry for a long time. I head up smart cities for Dell. It's a global role. And we are based out of Singapore. Our smart cities practice was set up about 7 or 8 years ago in Singapore in partnership with Singapore government. So as we all know, Singapore ranks very high as a smart city, or as they call, smart nation. So that's where the team is headquartered. So today we are going to talk about, and there's so much has been said and written about this, that smart cities are becoming smarter or will become smarter with the use of data, AI, and evolve and become what we call cognitive cities. And there are a lot of experts sitting here in the room who have written papers on that, right? So they have actually taught me and taught all of us. But we are all in this together, we are learning. And as we look at this, future cities, what are we talking about? The future is here now. This is not something out there in the future, right? This is happening today. All the technology is available today. So let's talk about that, and we'll try to make this an interesting session. And we are here to learn from each other. And you can look at some of the stats over here that we are very familiar with. Right? And there are new numbers coming out every single day that cities play a very important role in shaping the global or the digital economy. Not just the future, this is happening right now. So cities, cover only 4% of the land area, and yet house 55% of the population, expected to grow to 70% in the next few years. We contribute to 80% of global GDP, and a lot of that is digital economy, by the way. Of course, the not so good stats are, cities account for 75% of global energy consumption. So energy efficiency at a city level becomes so important, and the contribution to greenhouse gas emissions. So there is a transformation required at a city level, digital transformation. So I just wanted to preface with that. So as we take a look at the city, as somebody said yesterday, a city is, a living, breathing mechanism. What you don't see in this picture, you see a lot of things that we are all familiar with. We see this here, right here in Abu Dhabi and Dubai, which are some of the very smart cities around the world. What you don't see here is people. Because cities, after all, and of course people are there, it's just that they are not shown on the slide. Cities are not built around roads or cars or drones. and buildings and technology, cities are built around people. Yes, there are cities, that have evolved, old cities that have, what we call brownfield, and there are brand new cities coming up, greenfield. I was just across the hall listening to the gentleman from NEOM, Joseph, talking about, NEOM and all the, groundbreaking work that's happening out there. So this is a connected system. Imagine all these different systems with billions and billions of cameras and sensors, right? Capturing everything that's happening in the city. Think of it as digital eyes and ears. So a lot of things, there was a lot of focus and investment in infrastructure, digital infrastructure like sensors and IoT devices. All that is already there. The sensors are sensing, they are collecting information. The videos, cameras are capturing. So huge amounts of data is being produced. We are drowning in data. We don't even know what to do with the data and how to organize that data, analyze that, and even monetize that, right? And this is a combination of public sector and private sector. So the government and public sector have to work hand in hand. So wherever there's a lot of data, managing this data is beyond human scale. We are swimming in data, we don't know what to do with it. So that's where AI comes into the picture, artificial intelligence. And there's been a lot of talk about AI. So when we say imagine a city that can sense, that can think, and plan ahead and make some recommendation or take some actions in an autonomous way, that's what we mean by cognitive, the cognitive capability. So as somebody said, right, so doing something in real time is too late. So those of us who've been in the industry for a long time, there are a lot of systems that tell you what happened in the past. There are systems that tell you what's happening now. But what we need is systems, smart, intelligent systems, cognitive systems that are going to predict or tell you what is going to happen and take preemptive action. Right? This is not science fiction. This is happening now. And we just need to build or create new business models, or as they say, the killer apps, whether it's from the government services side or in the private sector. That is what is needed. We can stay on this picture and talk till the cows come home, right? So, and if you don't mind, I was very inspired by the great paper on cognitive cities written by the esteemed gentleman here from Price Waterhouse, PwC. And they wrote a great paper on cognitive cities, and you must have all seen it. So why cognitive cities? So very simply, improving the quality of life. At the end of the day, all this technology, as somebody said, you can have all the autonomous cars in the world, drones in the sky. Does that make people really happy? Right? Or simplify the lives of the people. So, quality of life, livability. I'll come back and talk about livability later. Increase resilience at a city level, given everything, the crazy world that we are living in, whether it's man-made or natural disasters, climate, challenges and so on. And that brings me to the next point, which is sustainability. We talked about energy consumption, energy efficiency. So that becomes a key element. Enhance operational efficiency at a city level. For a city planner, for a mayor, for government officials, or even people in the private sector, smart campus solutions and so on. And last but not the least, economic growth. And the PwC paper, summarized that quite well with the quote at the bottom, saying that the ideal smart city is the one that balances economic and technological aspects with human dimensions. And we heard, the people from UN Habitat also talk about people-centric cities, which is exactly what we are talking about, and then so much more. So evolving from, let's say on the left-hand side, smart to cognitive cities, the key word is moving from reactive to proactive. And I won't read every single thing. If you look at, the sensors on the left-hand side, as we said, there was a lot of IoT sensors, deployment that happened. Even the IoT devices are getting smarter. and more intelligence, with more intelligence built into it, and running whether it's in the private cloud, public cloud, or hybrid cloud in a hosted model, as a service model. But it's moving more and more towards now, with that data, you need to start using AI and Gen AI, and even I'll take it one step further by calling Agentic AI. Because Agentic AI will play a key role when it comes to cognitive cities. With these systems, different systems which are interconnected to each other, really these agents are talking to each other with or without human intervention. And they can take certain actions if they're allowed to, if they are programmed to, in an autonomous way. But so let's move on. So the key technologies driving cognitive cities: data, artificial intelligence, next-gen digital infrastructure, as in not only IoT devices, sensors, and 5G and all of that, but also the IT systems and platforms, right? When we talk about AI, you need powerful compute and storage and GPU accelerators, etc. So we have to look at all of that holistically. And we just talked about autonomous systems. All this will enable the traffic monitoring system to talk to the road safety system, or the utilities, water, electricity, gas, waste management, etc. These different systems talking to each other, or managing traffic or traffic congestion depending on the time of the day and the peak hours in an autonomous way, with little or no human intervention. So that's what really the agentic AI becomes important. So AI, we are hearing about AI so much. There's a lot of hype about AI. We need to separate the signal from the noise, but it is here to stay. And there's a race happening right now at a global level, regional, country level, or at a company level for AI, right? So AI has become, there is no escape. Today we cannot talk about digital transformation with anybody without talking about AI. As somebody said, AI has become the tip of the spear of digital transformation. So talking about agentic AI, and apologize for the silly slide and the picture on the slide, it's not going to look like that. But as you can see, the different systems, whether it's transport, traffic, parking, and there could be several agents. Even in the transport system, it's not just one agent, but multiple agents doing a specific task, right, based on an algorithm programmed to do a specific task. And these agents are, of course, augmenting or supporting humans in the decision making. But these agents can learn over time as they ingest data. They can become smarter. They can talk to other agents. They can talk to humans. And this is where the machine and the human partnership, the machine-human interaction also becomes very important. And that's what we see happening. So, first there was the traditional AI, then came Gen AI. Agentic AI is going to be 100 times even more bigger, more powerful, more strategic, more impactful than just Gen AI. Gen AI just generates content. Yes, very, very powerful. Text, image, graphics, videos. It can write a song for you. It can write an essay. Our children are using it more than we do, by the way. I learned more about Gen AI from our kids than but agentic AI is the next frontier of where this is headed. Now, the core, there's so much, talk about AI. We talk about AI. Everybody wants to jump into AI, but we forget that the data is the most important. Without data, there is no AI. So AI needs lots of data in the right format, high quality data, because if the quality is not there, there is no, no matter what you throw at it in terms of language models and fine-tuning and training, right, you're not going to get the results. It will flunk the test when it gets into the inferencing stage. So lots of data, high-quality data, and of course that data needs to be organized. I would say, instead of jumping into AI, let's focus on data. let's try to organize, let's understand what data do we have. Is it in the right format? Let's invest in what we call data lake or data warehouse-like solutions, right? So that it is ready to be used, for training large language models, RAG, etc. And then you focus on that. So 60% of the time should be spent on the data, and maybe 40% on the AI part. And of course, the proof is in the pudding, right? It's when you put the AI model to use, right? You put it in production when it moves to the inferencing stage. One other point to talk about is this AI-driven digital transformation is happening at the edge. A city is an edge, right? An airport is an edge. A retail store is an edge. More than 50% of the world's data is being generated at the edge. And it needs to be acted upon at the edge, because there is no time to send the data to the core, let's say to the data center, and for the result to come back. That takes more than 300 milliseconds. That's too late. It has to be acted upon in sub 20 milliseconds. So you need to bring compute and storage and AI closer to the edge, where the action is, where the transactions are happening, where humans are interacting, and data is being generated and which needs to be acted upon. That's this concept of what some people call it data gravity. More and more compute capacity is moving to the edge. Inferencing will happen mostly at the edge. So we need to understand this, because this has significant implications on the IT systems and architectures, etc. Together in partnership, I'm not trying to do any sales or marketing here, but in partnership with NVIDIA and other leaders, other key players in the industry, we created this very high-level concept called the AI factory. You think of it as an AI framework, which is what is shown on this slide. As you can see, there are no products or solutions here. This is just a framework that we've been together with NVIDIA, for example, that we have been talking about. So at the left-hand side is data. We've talked a lot about data. Ensure that the data is accessible, accurate, and secure. On the right-hand side, extreme right-hand side, is the use cases. That's why you are trying to do AI. We don't do AI just for the fun of it. Right? AI, all this stuff, by the way, is not cheap. It costs a lot of money, and a lot of funding is required. So you have to identify the right use cases. As Abu Dhabi or Dubai or Singapore, or even some of the emerging cities, what are the key use cases? What differentiates you? What is your superpower as a company, as a AdNec, for example, as a convention center? What differentiates itself? What do we want to focus on? What is going to give us the most return? And that's where the use cases, or identifying and prioritizing the right use cases, become so important to determine the highest value AI use cases to meet business objectives. Because that's the only way you can justify the return on investment. But what is needed in the middle? You need the infrastructure. You need an open ecosystem of the large language models, the AI platforms, etc. Dell, of course, plays in the infrastructure space at the bottom in servers, storage, network, etc. Another thing we should talk about is AI PCs. Going forward, more than half of the world's PCs will be AI enabled. So that's the next wave of personal computers that is coming to the desktop, right? With NPUs and GPUs built in the PCs. And people with an AI PC are going to be far more productive than those who don't have AI PCs. So this wave is coming, it's already here, and it's going to accelerate over the next few years. And on top, of course, is the services. This is where the solution providers come in, the system integrators offering all those services to address, and this is not easy, right? Somebody has to stitch or put this all together. We need skills, we need technical skills, and AI skills, and data scientists and data skills. So hopefully you find this helpful, this concept of the AI factory. And you can choose which players do you want. Who are the solution providers? What infrastructure do you want to choose? Whether you want to do it on-prem or in the public cloud as a hosted model, do you want to do it as a CapEx, capital expenditure, or spread out the cost over time as a service so that you treat it as OpEx? So all these options are available. I talked about livability. So we can talk a lot about technology, and if you imagine that picture of that city I showed you earlier, technology should be, it's intrinsic, it's built in, right? It has to make people's lives seamless, simple, safe, secure, the air we breathe, right? And how livable the cities are. It's not about technology. The technology should be under the covers, right? It should just become smooth. I walk into Singapore, I land at Singapore airport, I walk through immigration without having to take my passport out. It took me a while to get used to that. If you land in Singapore, you don't need to bring your passport out, you walk through. The immigration counters are there, lanes. There is nobody in the immigration lanes. You walk through, you don't take out your passport. So the technology is it makes it so simple. In Japan, the Smart City Institute of Japan, I'm currently based in Tokyo, and I'm in the process of moving to Singapore. We were talking to them, and they have created this thing called the LWCI, the Livable Well-Being City Indicator, to measure the happiness of the citizens. And they came up with a 28 point objective and subjective factors that they consider, that they measure. So this has become the standard in Japan by the government. So anybody who wants to apply for government funding or grants has to first comply with this. They have to show them the LWCI scores. Now what has happened is, nothing like this exists around the world. So this has caught the attention of the UN and UN Habitat and many other people and countries around the world who want to adopt and adapt a similar framework like this and learn from what is being done in Japan. Because as we said, at the end of the day, we need to be able to measure the happiness of people, whether it's in Guangzhou. The presenter before me was talking about this Guangzhou example as a smart city. Amazing stuff. We talk so much about technology. We shouldn't even be talking about technology, right? It is intrinsic, it is built in. So I just wanted to quickly share this with you, this concept of LWCI. Go and take a look at it. And many countries around the world are adopting this. So that's it. I mean, that's the closing slide, right? I mean, these are the cities we are living in today. This is not in the future. This is here happening right now. And all the technology in the world is here. All the data is here. But, I used to be in IBM like long time ago. There was a saying that we are thirsting for knowledge while drowning in data. We said this 30 years ago, and this is still true today, just like it was 30 years ago. We are thirsting for knowledge while drowning in data. So let me leave you with that thought. Thank you very much.
The future is definitely here. Did anyone have any questions for our presenter? He posed some definitely great theories and things that are occurring. I'm calling him back to the stage for this because he's definitely piqued our interest. I'm also ready for AI to be in my computer. Jeff, can you come? Once you're done, you have a few questions on the floor. You have a few questions.
Excellent presentation, Mr. Ajas. Very, very inspiring. I'm Karthikeyan from CII, Confederation of Indian Industry, India. We have been working with multiple cities in terms of implementing sustainability measures. Yes, obviously, the data analytics and the AI can be a tool for each of these cities to improve their sustainability aspects. Right. But about India, I hope, much more complicated from the city's point of view. though we have smart cities mission, more than 100 cities are working on smart cities mission, there are a lot of challenges in terms of implementation of these AI tools. So my question to you is, okay, is there a kind of roadmap Dell would suggest in terms of, yes, this is the kind of priority you should do, and then work gradually over a period of time in terms of implementation of the AI?
Right, right.
Thank you.
No, great question. Thank you. I'm very familiar with India. I was born in India, but I left India a long time ago, and I visit there very frequently. And we are involved in many projects in India, smart city projects, and the rest, right? With the big enterprise companies, private and public sector. So that's a very important question. I showed this diagram of the AI factory, so to say, or the AI framework. So yes, we have a roadmap. In fact, we are working with many clients and customers together with our partners on helping them come up with that roadmap, right? And I touched upon some of the elements of the roadmap, like the importance of focusing on data, identifying and prioritizing the right use cases, etc. Deciding where you're going to run it, on-prem, hosted, in the public cloud, etc., or a combination, hybrid. Right? What large language, models you want to choose, whether a closed system or an open system, and how do you do the training and fine-tuning using your own data, your enterprise data. Because your enterprise data differentiates you as a company, as an organization, as a city, etc. Right? So it's not just generic data from the public domain, but specific data to, let's say, Abu Dhabi or whatever. Right? What differentiates Abu Dhabi and Dubai and cities in India. So yes, we can help you come up with that roadmap, right? And do it in a step-by-step approach. So we provide that consulting from ourselves as well as from some of our partners and systems integration partners and so on.
Thank you very much. I'm Frank Beckmann from GBI Investment Advisory. I have a question. We are all talking about technology. What I'm missing is the human factor. The data is the blood of the technology, but the humans are the blood of the city. We need trust. How to engage the people, and at what point, what about participation during kind of this roadmap?
Yeah. So of course, trust and privacy and ethics and regulations, all this is very important. Unfortunately, we live in a world where no one or nothing can be trusted, right? That is what has happened to us. I mean, if we go back in time when we were little, when we were growing up, the world was a much simpler and better place. We could trust our neighbors, we could trust people, from across the city and so on, or different places. But now, like, our children can't go out and play or go on a bike somewhere or go alone somewhere, right? So this is such a broad topic. I mean, how do I even net it out in 1 minute, right? So trust, is very important. There's this concept now of zero trust security. Zero trust security actually says trust no one, trust nothing, right? Until the identity is fully certified or whatever, if somebody is trying to access something. But as the speaker on the other side was mentioning, this privacy, you have to have the right balance. The more information about you share with the company or that's providing the service, the better service they can provide you. If you trust somebody fully, you share everything with them. If you don't trust somebody, you only share a little bit, only what's required. And with somebody else, maybe a little bit more, right? But with your really close friends or trusted providers, you share everything. So, yeah, and based on how much you share, the returns or the service you get in return is proportionate to how much you are willing to share once you are able to establish that trust. So,
hello, my name is Abdullah. I'm from the International Corporations Department from the Ministry of Municipality of Qatar. Thank you very much for the brilliant presentation. I have a more generic and simplistic question, if I may. You briefly touched upon the differences between the agentic AI, the Gen AI, and I think the previous model that I didn't cut. Can you briefly just describe the differences between the three and how far advanced the
Right.
agentic
Right.
AI is?
Right. So the AI has been around for a long time, as we know. Artificial intelligence has been around for a long time, right? Algorithms or systems that can detect or identify patterns, and based on a given pattern of data, etc., then they can tell you, oh, this is what's happening, or this is what happened, or what is. So there are a lot of, today when you go to Google and you do search, or you go to Amazon.com and you're doing searching, it pops up something, right? You're like, oh, how does it know that I'm looking for this or that, right? So AI has been there in systems, enterprise systems, ERP systems, whatever, or e-commerce sites, etc., for a very long time. What caught everyone's attention and imagination is Gen AI. When ChatGPT introduced, Gen AI, generative AI, which generative means it can generate content, text, images, graphics based on the prompt, right? It can even create video. It can do a painting. It can write a song, right? So, and also when you think of Gen AI, the data explosion goes to the roof because that's original content being created, of course by machine, not by humans, but it's original. In other words, that content did not exist before. Right? It's brand new content, and that's going to add to the data explosion. So that's Gen AI. And we see many, many examples of generative AI, digital human solutions, But agentic AI takes it a step further. Agentic AI doesn't really generate content. So this concept of AI agents that are designed or programmed to do a specific task, whether it's in helping opening of new bank accounts, or detecting why somebody's electricity bills are so high, for example. So there can be many, many agents. If you go to Dell.com, sorry to say that, it sounds like selling. If you go to Dell.com, there's a lot of AI agents built into that. So if you're looking for a solution, if you want to buy a PC, let's say an AI PC, it will recommend a lot of things. So there's a lot of different types of AI agents built into that. From a smart city point of view, imagine if all the different the systems, each one will have multiple agents, they can talk to each other. The traffic system can talk to the parking system, etc., etc. And autonomously take certain actions based on what it is allowed a program to do with minimum or no human intervention. There can always be this concept of human in the loop, right? It's not that the machines are going to take over. But these AI agents are smart. They can learn and get better and better, more smarter and intelligent over time. So agentic AI will become a key technology for what we call cognitive cities, where you now have an interconnected system of systems, right? So that's, in fact, and to take it one step further, Gen AI was very big. Agentic AI is going to be even bigger. There's something new called Agentic AI, which is what we are talking about in terms of privacy, the question about privacy. Agentic AI means, or am I even pronouncing it right? Agentic AI, whatever it's called. It's your personal identity, right? Imagine cloning yourself, creating a digital human or a digital twin of yourself, right? So that's another new thing that's coming, that's out on the horizon. Agentic AI, a digital version of yourself, that everything about you, your likes and your personal information, your financial information, your social, etc., your education. So creating that, a digital twin of yourself. So maybe we can take this offline and we can talk some more.